Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a company report that might seem as exciting as watching paint dry, but trust me, there's gold hidden in those financial statements. We are going to dissect an 8K filing from Eagle Bancorp and find out what's cooking. So what's the deal with this filing? Basically, it's a snapshot of some important decisions made at their annual shareholder meeting. Things like electing directors, approving their accounting firm, and giving the thumbs up to executive pay. Think of it as corporate housekeeping, but with potential clues about where the company is headed. Before we jump in, if you like getting straight to the point with these corporate deep dives, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked below where you can chat with other finance enthusiasts. First off, this report is dated May 15, 2025. So everything we're looking at happened around that time. Keep that date in mind as we go through the details. The big news here is that the shareholders approved the 2025 Equity Incentive Plan. This is a plan that uses company stock to motivate and reward employees. It is like saying, hey, if the company does well, you do well too. More details about this plan were actually disclosed earlier in April. Now, let's talk about the actual shareholder meeting. There were four main things up for a vote: electing directors, picking the accountant firm, approving executive pay, and again, that equity incentive plan. Alright, time for some numbers. First, the election of directors. We have 8 names here. For example, Matthew Brockwell got about 18.94 million votes in favour with about 869,000 against. Stephen Friedkin got about 18.8 million votes for him and about 489,000 against. You see similar numbers for Teresa LaPlaca, Leslie Ludwig, Louis Pete Matthews, Susan Riel, Jane Saltese and Benjamin Soto. What does this tell us? These directors are in good standing with shareholders and were voted in pretty decisively. A good sign of confidence in leadership. Next, the shareholders had to ratify or approve the selection of Crowe as the company's accounting firm. This is important because the accounting firm is responsible for auditing, which is checking the company's finances. Here, about 22.3 million votes were cast in favour, with about 117,000 against. Again, a pretty clear endorsement indicating the shareholders trust the company's choice for their financial oversight. Then there's the vote on executive compensation, or how much the top bosses get paid. This is a non-binding vote, meaning the company doesn't have to listen to it, but it's a good temperature check. In this case, about 15 to 7 million votes were for the compensation and about 3.5 million were against. This one is a bit more split than the others. A large number of votes against executive pay can signal that shareholders think the executives are being paid too much or not performing well enough to justify their salaries. Finally, let's look at the vote on the 2025 Equity Incentive Plan. About 16.8 million votes were cast in favour, with about 2.4 million against. Another solid approval, suggesting that shareholders generally support the company's strategy of using stock to motivate employees. If you want even more detail about the equity incentive plan, you can check out Exhibit 10 on, which is a copy of the plan itself. It has all the nitty-gritty details. And now, zooming out and looking at the big picture, what does this filing tell us about Eagle Bancorp? Well, the shareholder meeting seems to have gone smoothly. The directors were elected with strong support. The accounting firm was ratified without much opposition, and the equity incentive plan got a thumbs up. The only area where there was a bit of dissent was on executive compensation, which is pretty common. From the numbers, everything seems pretty standard, but remember, this is just one small piece of the puzzle. To really understand Eagle Bancorp, you'd need to dig into their financial statements, look at their business strategy, and see how they stack up against their competitors. This 8K report just gives us a peek behind the curtain. However, one thing to consider is that the vote against the executive compensation plan being in the millions suggests that some shareholder vigilance could be needed as to how company money is being spent. Alright, that's our quick and dirty breakdown of Eagle Bancorp's 8K filing. What are your thoughts on these votes? Does anything jump out at you? Drop your comments below. If you found this helpful, give us a like and subscribe for more Corporate Decoder content. And don't forget to join our Discord community. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.